I know in the time that I've had the channel, I've been really reluctant to get rid of any cars, but the MR2 is going today.
Hello? Is someone there?
Alright, so you guys probably aren't aware, but over the last few days I've been working on this S13 right here. It used to be KAT, but then when I got the coupe that's right here, I took all the turbo stuff off this car. I put it on this car. And you guys know that I daily this car. It's registered and on the road. But this one's just been kind of sitting in my backyard. And I was going to put a 13B in it that I pulled out of the RX-7. But somebody wants to trade for it. So I'm getting it all tip-top in case he wants to actually trade for it. It's no guarantees at this point. That's why I haven't really told you guys that I'm working on it. But yeah, we're at the house today working on some other things. So there's a lot of moving pieces here. So we'll see if any of these potential scenarios can play out in the way that at the moment it appears they can. So not only am I working on that S13 for a potential trade, I'm also working on the MR2 for a potential trade. So I need to get the MR2 out in the backyard. But first I gotta move the G35 because you guys know no video is complete without a good game of musical cars. So let's get it moved around. Question is, will the G start first crank? I think it will. What's the under over, guys? Alright, she's out, ready to go. I'm gonna get her up on jack stands and start getting everything put back into her. I know I removed the hard lines for the coolant pipes just because I wanted to be able to access things in there better. So, get it up on jack stands, get in the coolant pipes, get in the gas tank, and then move to the engine bay. A little bit of YouTube magic. Alright, she's up on jack stands. Let's get to work. Over the next few days, it's my goal to get the MR2 running and driving. I have a silver top 20 valve 4A GE that I'm going to put in the car. I'm going to get it running and then I'm going to trade it. So let's start this process. Alright, so we used the hoist to pick up the MR2 to get the MR2 high enough to get the engine under it. Now that the engine's under it, well, it's time to lift it up with the hoist. The question is, do I lower the car down? Probably. Alright, so I went ahead and I got in the gas tank, all of the coolant lines. I actually had to re-drop the gas tank because I didn't put in the coolant pipes. And then, before I did all that, I put the engine in. So the engine's all attached with a nice flywheel clutch setup. Got the C52 transmission on there. And tomorrow, when I get off work, I'm going to come home, put on the ITBs, put on a header, try to get this thing to crank over. I don't have the harness on it yet either, but that's in the house. It's actually kind of a sad day when I get all the motivation to put something together really quick. To get rid of it, and I do it in like a day, and then you guys have seen me have like 12 projects that I just never complete. But you guys know that if I was like doing this for me, I'd be doing it a lot differently. But my criteria was get it running and driving and make it go on a trailer, so that's what I'm gonna do. Not graceful at all. Alright, so I'm about to go out to Tampa to pick up a gas tank for the MR2 and also see Hot Mulligan. My girlfriend likes that band a lot, so we're gonna go see him. And we're also gonna pick up a gas tank. So before I do that, I'm gonna just replace some front suspension components on the D21 because, well, they're all shot. So I'm not gonna do the lower ball joint, but I'm gonna do the upper ball joint, the inner and the outer tie rod. The reason I'm not doing the lower is because, well, I'm on a time crunch and I don't have a press at the house, and I'd rather take it all apart when I actually have the time to and do it at my shop where I actually do have a press. So I'm just gonna do what's easy to access, and I'm sure new inners, new outers, and a new upper ball joint will be a lot better than having all four of them shot. So let's get to it. Also, with the uppers, it's 4 13 millimeters, and that's what holds it in. So that makes it extremely convenient because the lower you have to press out, like I was saying earlier. So we're just gonna make this a nice, easy, quick process. All right, so I got the cotter pin out, and we got the 17 mil here. I'm just gonna take the hammer, start smacking stuff. As you can see here, my grease is doing that. But yeah, just give it a couple good smacks right here, it'll pop right out. Kit I grabbed came with all new hardware, a new cotter pin, and a Zerk fitting so you can fill it up with grease. All right, so here I wrap electrical tape around this nub. These are a little bit different. The inners don't connect to the outers, vice versa. It uses this collar right here. So I go ahead and I mark this with electrical tape so I know where I'm measuring to on my new ones so I can get my alignment as close as possible. I'm on break at work right now. I got 15 minutes. So I'm gonna take some phosphoric acid and put it in this gas tank and then dilute it with water so it fills it up. There we go, phosphoric acid. Don't get it on your skin. Thank you, Andrew, for this bottle. Got the water diluted phosphoric acid out of the tank after letting it soak for like 3 or 4 hours. Then I came over to the gas station and got some diesel gas to put in here to let soak because I don't want it to flash rust, and I have all the openings closed as well. So just gonna give this a quick little slosh around. It'll leave a little bit of a residue on all the bare metal and stop it from flash rusting immediately. So I got the engine running. The problem right now is that the fuel filter is completely clogged. Gas is not passing through that line, but it's leaking out the bottom because it rusted out and it's full of rust, so it's not passing through this entire gas line up into here. And I also popped out the front injector, and you can see it's just completely dry in there. So I'm gonna run to O'Reilly's and get a new fuel filter. One in stock, would you look at that? All right, let's go get it on the car before the sun sets. Well, that's never gonna let fuel get through it. At least it's not going into the engine because it's literally too clogged to even let any fuel through. So here I've got the AW11 and I've got everything hooked up. Now it's time to see if it's gonna start up. To record something for me. Happy birthday.
Thanks.
All right, first crank. She works. I'm gonna miss this car that I never got to drive. I'm not hooking up the coolant system, so I'm not gonna be driving it today. It's just more pain than it's worth, and I'm on a time crunch. It's Bean's birthday, and we have dinner to go to, so that's the goal. The goal was to get it running and operable so I can get it on a trailer, and that's where it is. Now that it's running and driving, it's time for it to go to its new home. So I'll catch up with you guys when Aaron gets here to pick it up. This is a bittersweet moment. I've had this MR2 for like 4 years. I've put it together twice, and well, it's off to a new home now. So I hope y'all are excited to see what I'm getting for it. I know in the time that I've had the channel, I've been really reluctant to get rid of any cars, but the MR2 is going today. And seeing it on the trailer, well, it's bittersweet. I'm gonna miss this car. She sounds great. She drives. I drove her more than I've ever driven her. But this is Aaron's car now, and Aaron's gonna turn her into a daily for work. With his other cars that he has for dailies for work, like the Sylvia or the R32 or any of the other things.
Not a daily, it needs a tune.
Not daily, needs a tune. The Supra's a daily. He's got an FD, I think.
Yeah, but it don't run.
And a Z31 and
And an FB.
an FB and
FB.
an FC.
And an FC.
Yeah, he's got a lot of cars. He's like me, but he doesn't make content.
I got a GSX Eclipse too.
Oh, a GSX Eclipse too.
GSM for life.
This man's got all kinds of toys. And now, he's got the MR2 that's on the shirt that he's wearing. Would you look at that? Boys, she's here. Got the R33, Skyline GTS. All right, so in the time that I've had the channel, you guys know that I've gotten a lot of nice cars for next to nothing, and this time I got another nice car for next to nothing. However, there's no way I would end up in a car like this if it didn't have a bunch of work that needed to be done to it, so you know, that's why we have it here today. So I put together the MR2 and then traded it for this R33 GTS, and it's got some damage, right? But that's what's gonna make it interesting, is that I have to fix it all. And I'm up for the challenge, so let's take a look at this car. All right, so it was hydroplaned into a guardrail on the highway, from what I understand, and then after it hit and was damaged, somebody else decided to drift the car, and I guess they like understeered it or something, and then crashed it into the guardrail again. I don't even know, it's a very weird story, but the front end, luckily, didn't get damaged much farther than the front tub. As you can see here, the frame rail is completely straight. Well, you can't really see, but it is. And the crunching all stopped right there. So yeah, that doesn't seem too bad. I think I can fix that. So the way I see it is, I have to get the car on a frame machine, and from there I can get this lower frame rail pulled out to where it's supposed to be, and then I can start pulling out this lower panel section. From there, I gotta get this trunk lined back up with the quarter panel, and then in the time that it takes me to kind of source parts and get this all figured out, I need to see if I can source a metal quarter panel. And if I can't do that for a reasonable price, I'm probably going to just pull out the fender, see if I can repair what's there, and if I can't repair what's there, then I could just go with a fiberglass over fender. So there's like 3 different instances that could occur when it comes to this, but it all starts with getting it, you know, done to some degree in terms of pulling out the rear frame rail and then getting this back panel straightened out, because I need to get everything lined back up before I'm gonna just go in and replace a whole quarter panel. It's really crunched up, but I think it's workable. I've talked to a lot of people. I've talked to body techs. I've talked to people who own frame machines, and they all said that it's fixable, so not too concerned about that. There's no way I would have gotten in a car like this any other way. I know it's a 4-door, and I know it's just a GTS, but it's still cool, right? It's a Skyline. So I'm probably not gonna get on this ASAP either, because I have the JZX to work on, but when a trade like this comes up, you kinda gotta execute it and get it done so you can get back to what you were working on. So I am gonna go back to the JZX. I just had to get this done. I'm also probably not gonna start working on this car ASAP. A lot of the stuff I have to source is really, really expensive, and if I try to force it, it's gonna cost more, so I have to let it naturally become available, and I have to find it when it's available, or else I'm gonna pay a premium on it. And I also plan on going right back to the JZX. It's just when you have an opportunity like this to make a trade for a car like this, you wanna get it done as quickly as possible before the person changes their mind. So now that the MR2 is gone and the R33 is here, and you guys have seen it, now I can go back to the JZX.